face off against a Canton team that has restored their place atop the Davenport. They are in first place right now with an overall record of 8-1. Canton, after a down year last year in which not only did they see their streak of Davenport Division titles come to an end, they also saw their streak of playoff appearances come to an end as well, as they finished the season under 500 in a transition year for the storied volleyball program, but right back to form now in this 2018 fall season as they have gotten out of the gates 8-1. Their only loss so far on the year has come to undefeated Franklin. Other than that, in the other 8 games on the season for Canton, they have dominated. As a matter of fact, 7 of those 8 wins have been 3-set sweeps with just one 4-setter in there as well. So Canton has been the picture of consistency so far this season. And for Milford, they have been playing very well as well over the course of this season. They most recently had a 4-game winning streak come to an end earlier this week. Over the final 2 weeks of September, 4 straight victories. But this past week has been a tough week for Milford. They ended up falling in a match against Stoughton on the road, a 5-setter that Milford fell by a final of 3-2. They followed that up with a 3-set sweep loss at the hands of Oliver Ames. And as a result of those back-to-back losses, Milford had been in second place in the Davenport, but with those 2 losses, they have fallen out to 3rd place, but still in good shape, still over 500 on the season, and hoping to have a good showing here tonight on their home floor as they take on their longtime rivals, the Canton Bulldogs. Always happy to bring you this rivalry matchup on the volleyball court, and we'll get it started in just a few short moments. We'll have introductions here at the court, and then we'll start this matchup. Again, it is Milford taking on Canton. And we have all the action coming up for you in just a moment here on Milford TV. And welcome back inside the Milford High School Gymnasium. Time to get this matchup started. The Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks taking on the Canton Lady Bulldogs. I am Tim Coet. Happy to be on this coverage tonight, and we welcome in anyone who may be tuned into our live streaming coverage of this volleyball match tonight. We have doubleheader live streaming Milford High School athletics action on the docket for this evening. We're here on the Milford TV feed bringing you this girls volleyball game right now. A little over an hour from now, we will go live on our educational feed with coverage of the homecoming night football matchup between Milford and Sharon. Patrick Garapi will be on the call for the football game tonight. So we have you covered for the duration of the evening with live streaming coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. And as always, we're happy to have you with us. Canton will get the first serve of this match, as stepping behind the line is their senior captain, Nicole Brown. A lot of seniors on this team for Canton this season. A lot of players that didn't have a lot of varsity experience a year ago, but have built nicely off of the experience they were able to gather last season. And the first serve away, absorbed on the back line by the libero, Sydney Sutton. And an early kill for Milford gives them the first point of the match. It's always been a rivalry between these two schools, but it's a rivalry that has been very much one-sided. And going back all the way as far as we could in records that were available online, which spanned about 11 consecutive meetings between these two teams, Canton had a long winning streak going. As now we see the power of Erin Devine on the front row for Canton getting the kill to even up the match. But Canton had gotten the better of Milford for about a half a decade at least. And of those victories, all of them had been 3-set sweeps until finally Milford was able to break through in their first meeting of last season. Back on September 19th of last season, they were able to win the opening set of that match. Canton did go on to win the match by a final of 3-1, but it started to signal a changing of the tides in this matchup, and boy, did we see a very different result the last time these two teams met, which was here in the Milford gym in the later stages of last season. Long rally going on here as Canton keeps it going now, sending a hard blast over from the left side, but that is going to go just beyond the back line to give Milford the hard-earned point. The second meeting of last season came on October 16th in a match that Milford shocked Canton with a 3-set sweep victory, 25-19, 25-19, 25-23, to earn their first win in about 11 tries against Canton. A lot of regular season meetings between these two teams, and of course a memorable postseason matchup back during the 2016 season in the district semifinals. Even play through the early points of this first set, tied at 2, is now behind the line To serve out is number 35, Megan McDonough, another of the captains of this Lady Bulldog squad. Over the middle, it's Allison Corsini. And now looking for the setup was Reardon, but ends up with the double hit. Total of 4 captains on the Canton side: Nicole Brown, Rose Haslam, Erin Devine, and Megan McDonough. Another serve now for McDonough, wearing the libero uniform. And that ball deflected out by Milford, and Canton now takes a 4-2 lead. We watched the freshman and JV matches take place here earlier. The Milford freshmen were able to come away with a victory in 2 sets, and on the JV side, it was the Canton JV team with the 2-set victory. Another deflection, this time off the hands of Sydney Sutton, and Canton starting to settle into a groove with McDonough on serve. Another hard blast, this time Sutton able to play it cleanly. Corsini with her back to the net sends it over, but she will send it long. The service game continues for McDonough, as she's now given Canton their largest lead so far of the match, and now a mishit in the back from Alyssa Williamson, and that's going to give Canton a 7-2 lead and force head coach Tammy Weber into an early timeout after an exchange of the opening couple of points. Canton seizing the first bit of momentum of this rivalry matchup, taking the 7-2 lead. We'll take the timeout as well. Much more to come in just a moment here on Milford TV. This Milford gym is alive with energy on this Friday night. 4 straight points now off the service game for Megan McDonough. And she will serve it out once again now out of the timeout. And this time Williamson able to slide in to get the dig. Pushed over by Fauerbach. Now a hard blast from left to right. And Canton gets the kill. Canton settling in nicely. Milford looking for an early answer. Fauerbach having to go a long way, as looked to be a bit of lack of communication on the floor for Milford, which has been a problem for them at times this season. Good effort from the sophomore, but it results in another point, and McDonough's going to keep this momentum rolling for the Lady Bulldogs. Here's Corsini now over the middle, and McDonough able to get her hands on it. And now she'll push it back over. Now set up on the left side for Pinto. The front line taking some speed off of that shot by Pinto. Now the return, and Sydney Sutton, that one might have caught her a little bit by surprise. Sort of handcuffed her as it came in, and Milford could not react in time, and it is now a 10-2 lead for the Lady Bulldogs. From a 2-2 tie now to a 10-2 Canton advantage. Now again, a hard attacking shot from the left side taken by Taylor Harris, who has been arguably Canton's best offensive weapon so far on the season, along with Devine over the middle. Taylor Harris with 47 kills on the season coming into this week. Those stats as of Monday, so possibly adding on to that. In fact, likely adding on to that. Again, with 2 matches this week, both of them 3-set sweeps against North Attleboro and against Taunton. And this time, Sutton, a clean dig on the shot by Harris. Now a diving stop in the back by McDonough. And that one just misses outside, as Milford now tries to climb their way back in. 10-4 now with Brianna Maeda on serve. And that shot too long, taken by Liz Beckett, a sophomore. A lot of seniors and a lot of underclassmen make up this Canton roster. There are only 2 juniors listed on their roster. The rest seniors, sophomores, and also 2 freshmen on this roster, Sydney Gallery and Jackie Morrissey. Milford now all of a sudden with some momentum on their side as Maeda releases another serve. Harris absorbs it. She'll take the setup but deliver it over the back line. And no, that'll be deflected off of Milford. Graze the fingertips of one of the Lady Hawks players on the way by. So Canton back on serve. It's Olivia Chinson. Maeda the first to get to this one. Now Corsini, and Allison Corsini with the kill. And now going immediately on serve after making the good play, but Corsini's serve goes wide to the near side. And now Allison Corsini to the bench. Lauren Corsini out there. Lauren Corsini is the kills leader on this Milford team with 80. Alyssa Williamson second with 59 kills, and Nina Pinto third with 54. Milford slowly climbing their way back in. A similar feel to the early stages of this match as to what we saw back early on the season. First game we covered for Milford on the year was their 3-1 win against Sharon. It's Pinto from the back row now. Reardon, excuse me. Milford able to get it over, and then Williamson guarding the net front. And Milford will take the point. We also had a chance to cover Milford's 3-1 victory over North Attleboro back on the 24th. That was Rob O'Keefe on the call for that game. And now bad communication for Canton results in the point for Milford that all of a sudden narrows the gap to 12-10. So just when it appeared that Canton was in position to run away with this first set with that 10-2 lead, now Milford right back to just a 2-point deficit. Here's the setup for Williamson. Tried the touch shot, but the front row on the Canton side was ready. They team up for the block, and now Erin Devine will check back into the game. With Canton back up by 3. Sutton steps up for the dig. Here's Williamson. This time gets the hard deflection off the front row, but Canton keeps it alive. Now back over. Sutton the first to get to it, and Reardon pushes it over with 2 hands. Now Devine, and Milford was able to take some heat off of it on the front row, but Sutton was the lone line of defense in the back, and she could not track that one down in time. Serve coming from Emily Morrison, a junior for the Lady Bulldogs. Here's Corsini, and Corsini gets the deflection. The junior captain, Julia Reardon, now behind the service line with the score 14-11 in favor of Canton. And a low line drive serve that does not make it over the net. Canton now back on serve. Here's Elise Fauerbach. Milford scrambles after the hard ricochet off the net. And just like that, back to a 5-point Canton lead. Milford has played from behind for the majority of this set. Here's Reardon, the clean setup for Fauerbach. But that one cannot make its way around the antenna. Another serve from Nicole Brown. Here's Corsini. Diving attempt, nicely done by McDonough, and dropped in perfectly right on the center of the floor on Milford's side, out of everyone's reach. And Coach Tammy Weber forced to call another timeout. Milford had pulled it back to within 2, but now Canton extending the lead back out to 7 points, 18-11 here in the first set. Canton over Milford as you enjoy coverage of Milford girls volleyball here on Milford TV. Both teams back on the floor out of the timeout. Canton continuing the service game. Nice reaction from Fauerbach in the front corner. And now the shot from the left side for Canton is long. I believe that was taken by Teresa O'Brien. And now Sydney Sutton, who has been one of the top servers for Milford on the season. Calmly, Canton able to deliver it back over as Chinson sends it from the left side. Now Williamson, the hard shot, but nice play by the senior captain, Nicole Brown. The front row for Canton cannot return it. Sydney Sutton with 22 aces on the season, which is the top mark on the team. Not an ace this time as Taylor Harris gets the dig, but eventually Milford will take the point. And again, this Milford team looks to regroup now at 18-14. Flicked over on the front. Here's Williamson. Now pushed over, that caught Milford by surprise, but Reardon was able to regroup nicely. Here's the setup for Devine. And that takes a deflection off of Milford and out. Devine so strong. Allie Irons serving it out for the Lady Bulldogs. It's Fauerbach. Delivers the shot long over the middle, and that pushes Canton into a 20-14 lead, now 5 points away from an opening set victory. Sutton the dig, now Corsini has her shot blocked. Milford keeping it alive. Reardon sprawling down to the floor. Now she'll set it up for Williamson, and Williamson can't keep it inside the line. At 21-14, next serve from Canton, and Williamson able to split the duo of Devine and Harris and ends up getting the kill. Milford not out of this set quite yet, but they're going to need to string some points together, hoping to do so on the serve of Alyssa Williamson. But they will not get it. Williamson sends the serve out to the far side. Megan McDonough, once again the server for the Canton Lady Bulldogs. Williamson and Fauerbach, and eventually it's Reardon who two-hands it over. Now the setup for Harris, and another desperation save made by Reardon. She's kept a lot of plays alive here tonight, but that time ends up sending it just out of the reach of Fauerbach. But overall, the reaction time for Julia Reardon has been outstanding through this first set. But Milford in trouble now with Canton up 23-15. Fauerbach for Pinto. And now Sutton. And Corsini fires it into the net. Sutton playing that last ball. I'm not sure if that would have gone out or not. It would have been close. But it is now set point for the visitors. McDonough trying to close it out. Sinking serve finds Sutton, and then pushed down by the front row of Canton out of the reach of Fauerbach, and that is that. So Milford battling back a couple of times in that opening set, but in the end, Canton able to take it by a final of 25-15. So we'll flip the floor and be back for set number 2 right after this. Again, coverage of Milford girls volleyball right here on Milford TV. Welcome back for the second set of this Friday night rivalry night matchup between the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks and the Canton Lady Bulldogs. Canton taking the first set 25-15, and Milford now serving first in this second set as it's punched over by Canton's Teresa O'Brien. Now it's Corsini, and then again O'Brien, but deflecting it off of the antenna. And the first point of the second set goes to Milford with Sydney Sutton on serve. Set up over the middle for Devine. She's able to get it past the hands of Allison Corsini. We've seen a lot of Allison Corsini up front so far in this match for Milford. Not quite as much of Lauren Corsini as we're accustomed to seeing, as Devine is able to stuff that one up front. Milford gets it back over, only to have it stuffed again by Olivia Chinson, but play continues, and Devine able to get the kill. Reardon got a piece, but not enough to keep play alive. A lot of back and forth right up at the net front. Now Nicole Brown, whose service game was on point in the first set, as was Megan McDonough, the two captains really setting the tone. Canton having their struggles a season ago, but looking much more like the Canton that we are accustomed to seeing under the direction of Pat Cawley, one of the best in the business. Milford down a point as Williamson serves it out. Harris. Chinson delivers a high-arcing return shot. Now here's Corsini, and Corsini, Allison Corsini, will get the kill. Now Williamson. Harris got the dig. Now Sutton with the sprawling dig on the other side. Corsini this time getting it just off the fingertips of Devine as she starts to make the adjustments. Both Allison and Lauren Corsini have been pivotal to the success of this Milford team so far this season. As now, again, Milford late to react, and they pay the price as Canton ties the set up at 4. But we talked about it a lot in the first match we covered on the season. It seemed like one of the biggest vacancies on the team after the group of seniors graduated last year. It was at the front of the net where Jill Valenzola, Juliana Tracy, and Kate Lobuser were so invaluable. But between Lauren and Allison Corsini and also the play up front by Elise Fauerbach, Milford has done well to fill that void. Milford up by a point now as Brianna Maeda will serve for the first time in the second set. Dug out by McDonough. Now here's Harris from the left side and just too strong. A lot of power at those outside hitter positions. Tied at 5 as McDonough will now take over the serve. And now that one is going to take a ricochet off the basketball hoop up on the roof. And it comes down as a point for Canton. There are a total of 3 teams over the 500 mark right now in the Davenport Division. Canton at 8-1. It is Stoughton right now in second place at 7-2. Stoughton able to edge out Milford in a key divisional matchup back on Monday, a 5-setter. So Stoughton in second place at 7-2, and then Milford at 5-4. North Attleboro and Sharon both at 3-6 share fourth place, and Foxborough at 1-10 in sixth place in the Davenport. And a little bit more quickly on that loss that Milford suffered against Stoughton back on the first. Milford ended up losing the first 2 sets. Looked to have the makings of an ugly night, but they were able to battle back nicely as Corsini gets the deflection off the hands of Nicole Brown for the Milford kill, cutting it back to a 1-point Canton lead. But after losing those first 2 sets, Milford came back to force the 5th. Ended up coming up just short there. And then they follow that up with a 3-set sweep loss against Oliver Ames. Tied at 7 now. Milford keeping it closer here in set 2. It's a team that has adjusted well in games over the course of the season, and you have to give a lot of the credit to head coach Tammy Weber. Very nice effort on the Canton side for Allie Irons. Went a long way to try to keep that play alive. Harris, Angie Elias in there on the play. Deflection off the front row. Canton stays calm. Harris will poke it over. Maeda steps up to dig it out. Now from the left side it is Pinto, and Pinto will get the deflection. And Milford now taking a 9-7 lead. And suddenly Canton a little antsy on their sidelines after feeling in full control through that first set. Now here's Anna Alvarenga on for the serve. Did not see Anna in the first set. And after the point goes to Milford, Coach Cawley calling the first timeout on the Canton side of this match. A 10-7 advantage for the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks over the Canton Lady Bulldogs. That's Canton up by a set, but Milford trying to turn momentum here on Milford TV. A battle of the fans during the timeout as the Canton freshman and JV teams try to incite their varsity counterparts out on the court. And the Milford fans in attendance trying to keep the energy up for the home team as well. Milford with a 3-point lead as Alvarenga continues the serve, but sends it long. And so a well-placed timeout halts the Milford momentum, at least for now. Olivia Chinson, sophomore on serve now for the Lady Bulldogs. And stepping in to make the play is Maeda. And lobbed back over by Reardon. Now punching at it is Williamson. She's able to deliver it over with one hit. Gets to this one again, and now Pinto too strong on the return. But a couple of nice plays from Williamson one-handed on that rally. Lead for Milford down to a single point as Chinson's serve deflects off the Milford back row and out. And we're even at 10. Canton really able to stifle the Milford momentum, adjusting after the timeout, but now Chinson's serve ends up in the net to put Milford back on top and now send Nina Pinto on serve. And now the deflection sent out on the Canton side. Pinto makes it 12-10 as Coach Cawley repositions her team ahead of the next serve. Over the middle, met by McDonough. And now Harris sends it over with two hands. Now Reardon, the clean setup for Williamson, and able to get the front row to bite, and ends up sending the changeup over the net for the kill. Milford starting to look more comfortable. Now to the back row for Sutton. Williamson, and too strong. All about harnessing the power for Williamson. She's got a lot of skills. We've talked about it in previous matches. It's a lot of times those cross-court hits like that that tend to go over the back line. Trying to find a proper amount of speed. But meanwhile, Corsini right on point with that kill. A quick substitution as Elise Fauerbach returns to the front row. Reardon behind the service line. And Reardon looked like something in the toss there that had her off balance. So 14-12. As Emily Morrison will serve for the visiting team. There's Williamson. Chinson gets to it. Now O'Brien. And Corsini rejected by Devine. Morrison now finds Sydney Sutton. Williamson keeps it going, and Milford very careful getting that ball back over. Now Pinto will lob it over herself. Now Corsini finding that one is Morrison. And the hard shot deflected in front by Milford. And Canton, some bodies getting tangled up there. Harris was able to send a shot over, but too long. Milford still maintaining a narrow lead at 15-13. Now right up to the net, pushed over by Brown. Now Corsini. And the violation at the net for Milford sends us back down to a 1-point differential. Off the serve by Nicole Brown, Williamson able to shoot it past the front row again. And now Williamson will serve with the team again up by 2. Here's Devine, and this time Corsini gets the block. Allison Corsini continuing to have a very strong game. Now Devine picking her spot, looping that one over the front row and getting the kill. Quick substitution on the Canton side before we continue. Now the serve from Irons. And a kill in front for Allison Corsini. (18-15), Milford hoping to even up this match. Here's Maeda. Harris, a tremendous return shot. Milford could do nothing about it. Taylor Harris, one of those 2 juniors. She has quickly become a star on this varsity roster. Megan McDonough on the serve. Here's Corsini. She shoots it past the front row and finds the vacant spot. Taylor Harris came into this match as the kills leader. The updated stats show 47 kills on the season for Taylor Harris. Nicole Brown second with 36, and then Erin Devine with 35. At 19-6, Alvarenga with the serve. Again, having to play it out of the back row. Back to Williamson, who finds Harris. Brown will set it up on the right side, this time for Chinson. Now Pinto, and that caught a piece of Allie Irons. Put the hands up, then tried to pull him down to let that shot go by, but instead absorbed the contact as Milford takes the 20-16 lead. And another timeout now for head coach Pat Cauley and the Canton Lady Bulldogs. Again, 20-16, Milford trying to even up this match. We'll continue on in the second set next here on Milford TV. The Lady Hawks 5 points away from evening up this match. Alvarenga back on serve out of the timeout. And a tough serve. McDonough was able to save it, but and the return shot long from the left side. 21-16 now as Alvarenga keeps it going. Now dug out by McDonough. Here's Harris, and Alvarenga with a nice dig. Now Pinto, and gets it over the reach of Olivia Chinson. And now the second set win just 3 points away, and Coach Cawley able to get the substitution in, sending Sydney Gallery, the freshman, onto the floor, replacing Chinson. Alvarenga misfiring on the serve. 22-17. And Allison Corsini waiting for the chance to check back in. Now will do so. Or no, now will return to the bench. And Chinson's still out there as well, so. Figuring out the exact personnel on the floor. Chinson on serve with the score now 22-18. Williamson stays calm, gets it back over. Now the setup over the middle. Reardon now for Pinto, and that goes pinballing off a couple of hands on the Canton side and down for the Milford kill. Now 23-18. The senior captain, Nina Pinto, hoping to serve as the closer. Harris moving well again is Reardon. And that stays in for the Milford kill, and now it is set point for the Lady Scarlet Hawks, up 24-18. And again, Coach Cawley cycling through her personnel, sending Bella Tuzas to the bench. Getting Allie Irons back out onto the floor as Milford serves it out on set point. And the ace for Nina Pinto, and that concludes a 25-18 second set victory for Milford. So we're all evened up now at a set apiece. And Milford into this match now. We'll see if they can carry momentum over into set number 3, which will start in just a couple of moments here on Milford TV. Several former Milford volleyball captains in the house taking in tonight's game at the scorer's table. Captains from the 2016 fall team, Lauren Zarangian and Allie Collins, and also captain of the 2018 team, Kelly Reichert, all present. Coming back to take in what is always a much anticipated matchup in the Hockomock League during this girls volleyball season, Milford versus Canton, and right now this matchup has been as advertised. Both of these teams trying to rebound after missing out on the playoffs a year ago, two teams that met in that 2017 season in the district semifinals, and both teams ended up being on the outside looking in of the playoffs at the end of last season. That's the first serve of this third set. Travels beyond the back line. Puts Milford on the scoreboard first. Now Sydney Sutton getting the service game started for Milford, and sends that one off the hands of her counterpart on the Canton side, Megan McDonough. Now dug out by McDonough off of the Sutton serve, and then a little late reaction for Canton. Eventually Devine was able to return it, and now McDonough lays out to return that one. Now pushed over by Corsini. Set up on the left side for O'Brien. Reardon's there. Now Corsini again over the middle, sends it off the hands of Brown, but Harris is there and back. Now O'Brien to the near sideline for Milford. Still alive in one of our longest rallies of the match, and it ends with the kill on the Milford side. Hard fought. And a 3-0 start in the second set for the Lady Hawks. Now, again, indecision on the near side for Canton, as it looked like McDonough initially thought Harris was going to go after that ball. Then she had to scramble, could not get there, and fortunately did not go careening into the scorer's table. More of a line drive serve that time for Sutton. Canton in some trouble. Harris able to two-hand push it over. Now Corsini gets rejected, and that puts an end to a hot start to this match for Milford. Canton finished last season just one game better than Milford in the standings. They finished at 7-12 overall on the season. Milford finished at 7-13. It's a 7-9 record in league play for Canton versus a 6-10 record for Milford. And as we mentioned, they split the season series. Reardon able to avoid falling victim to that spike for Devine. She was able to react to it, and eventually Milford gets the point. Now the serve from Williamson. Just barely sneaks over the net, and a diving play by Morrison to keep it alive. And that goes long beyond the back line. Milford having their best start so far. Fell behind in each of the first two sets, but they were quickly able to overcome that second set deficit to take control and earn the win. And they'll keep it going now. Canton struggling to find answers, and Coach Cawley, seeing that her team was struggling mightily out there, calls the timeout. A 7-1 start to this third set for Milford. And Coach Weber trying to keep her team locked in, and we will see who comes out of the timeout more focused in when we come back after this here on Milford TV. Williamson with the serve out of the timeout. And that one deflecting hard off of McDonough. But Canton keeps it alive. Now here's Pinto, and too long. McDonough now on serve, hoping to change her team's fortunes. Milford claiming the second set of this match, and we talked about it a little bit in the open. Canton losing in a 3-set sweep to Franklin. Back on September 14th, it was their only loss of the season. They've only lost one other set in their other 8 matches on the year, so Milford claiming a set in this matchup with Canton, no small victory. But Canton, meanwhile, starting to string a couple of points together from 7-2, now 7-4. And the service game continues for McDonough. Sutton, good awareness on the court, lets that ball go. Getting into the later evening hours, these matches got off to a late start due to a little issue on the highway that delayed Canton's arrival. And so As a result, this match will continue on with the football game getting set to kick off outside in about 7 minutes from now. And that game will go live via our Milford TV educational feed, with the football team taking on Sharon, but still plenty of excitement left to go here in the Milford gym as the Lady Hawks bring the score now to 9-5. Couple of changes for Coach Weber, and now Alvarenga back out there. Serve specialist. And delivers that one perfectly. Forces Megan McDonough into the dive, and it deflects off into the stands. Alvarenga trying to get focused. A little break in the action as Coach Colley had a few words for her senior captain, Nicole Brown, from the sidelines. And now Alvarenga ready to release the serve. McDonough having to chase after it. Now returned over. Reardon will get a clean setup, but instead the officials ruling the double hit. Now Taylor Harris. And another double hit for Milford, and this is going to start to creep Canton closer on the scoreboard. Curious if Taylor Harris is any relation to Tony Harris, who was a outstanding multi-sport athlete for Canton High School for his 4 years, graduating last spring, was an athletic wide receiver on the football team, making a lot of big plays in the Bulldogs passing game, and was also a major scoring threat on the basketball court as well. Covered a number of games involving Tony Harris in his Canton career. Eleven to 7 now with Pinto set to serve. Sends it out on the far sideline. Just a 3-point lead for Milford. Allie Irons, the server now for Canton. Reardon over the middle for Corsini. It's Lauren Corsini out there right now, and great effort, outstanding effort by Sydney Sutton. Full-on dive. Milford was hoping to play the bounce off the net, but it ended up deflecting straight down and narrows the gap a little bit more, 11 to 9. Corsini gets it over. Now the setup for Devine, and a hard deflection off of Williamson. And Canton starting to get some of their swagger back out on the court, as Milford once owned a 7-2 lead in this third set, and that lead has now dwindled down to a single point. And Williamson looks to have the kill, but Canton able to keep it alive, and now that ball out on the far side, and Canton all kinds of pumped up now. And Coach Weber now has to call the timeout. What a change. A 9-4 run for the Canton Lady Bulldogs to even this third set up at 11 apiece. This rivalry continuing to unfold, and it unfolds right here on Milford TV. Allie Irons helping to swing momentum in this set. And now Williamson able to push the lead back into Milford's favor. Julia Reardon now. She releases the serve. There's Devine, pushes it towards the back corner, and that's in. Pinto let it go. Now Nicole Brown, the senior captain, back on serve. Sutton with a nice dig. And then Elise Fauerbach gets the kill. Milford trying to build a lead back up again. Up by just a point. Sutton finds Harris on the back. And the net violation. Not sure if they called that one on O'Brien or Devine, but regardless, it's a point in the column for Milford, giving them a 14-12 advantage. Devine flicking it over and splitting Fauerbach and Williamson. So again, the lead is just one. Serve now for Emily Morrison. From the left side, Corsini with a blast. McDonough able to lay out for it. Now Corsini over the middle. It's Brown. Now Harris. It's part of the net. And now the block up front. Milford still has it. And now able to get the deflection off McDonough and out. And a good sequence again. (15-13) Milford lead. And now Williamson in the long serve. Convincing set victories for each side through the first two sets. 25-15 for Canton to start out. 25-18 in the second set for Milford. But much closer now. It looked, again, like it might be a lopsided set for Milford early. But Canton narrowing the gap, and now the two sides continuing to keep it close. And Milford with another kill to give themselves a little breathing room. And Coach Cawley with the timeout for Canton. 16-14, Milford with a slight edge here in the third set. And a match even at a set apiece between Milford and Canton right here on Milford TV. Set to resume out of the timeout here. Milford on top of Canton, 16-14 in the third set. And meanwhile, they are just kicking off over on the football field. Milford on offense first. We are streaming that game live over on our educational feed, but we certainly invite you to stay with us right here. We'll keep you updated on the progress of the football team until this match comes to conclusion. Football team getting an excellent return on the opening kickoff, starting around midfield on their first offensive possession as Milford is going to jump on top 17-14 here. Maeda on serve, McDonough. Now Harris. Smoothly dug out by Sutton. And Milford with the double hit. Here is Olivia Chinson back on serve. Too long. Subs for Milford. Sutton and Allison Corsini to the bench. Lauren Corsini and Anna Alvarenga back out onto the floor. Alvarenga will serve. Now the high setup for Brown and picks a good spot on the floor. Alvarenga was the only one in the neighborhood, could not get to it. Allison Corsini will come right back into the game. Instead, it will be Sutton who comes back in. And Sutton retrieves that one along the near sideline, and Milford trying to loft it back over, but it's shy of the net. And excitement again on the Canton side as it's back down to a single-point lead for Milford. Now Maeda, Milford looked to be in some trouble. Williamson able to push it over. Canton called for the infraction. That gives Milford the point in the 19-17 lead. Pinto, who was able to close out the second set win, can't find her form on serve as she fires it into the net and brings it back down to a 1-point margin. This one staying close right down to the end. Now here's Allie Irons. Corsini, Chinson, and O'Brien punches it over. Williamson. It's going to be a tough play for Williamson. Could not elevate it, and now tied at 19, and we'll have the timeout for Milford as it's going to be a race to the finish now in this third set. Milford 19, Canton 19. Timeout on the floor. Back with more in a moment here on Milford TV. It has been an outstanding battle in this third set. A crucial point in this match as we're now tied up at 19. Milford hasn't trailed in this third set. We've seen several ties here down the stretch. Now Corsini, the stuff by Devine. Williamson now, and she gets the kill. Milford still needing 5 more points to hold on for a set win. Good serve for Reardon. Now O'Brien finds Sutton. Reardon will set it up for Williamson. And pushed over. But the double hit for Canton up front. And now a 21-19 lead. Now Reardon again and sending it into the net. Keeping it a razor-thin margin. Now the serve away. Reardon able to play it off the net nicely. A quick return for Canton, and now the spike for Devine. And tied up at 21. Brown, another serve. High setup for Corsini, but she's going to send that long. And Canton able to take their first lead of this third set at 22-21. A crucial swing. And now all of a sudden it's the Lady Bulldogs 3 points away from a set win. And Williamson loops that one over, and it ended up catching Canton by surprise, and that allows Milford to tie it back up. And now Sutton, arguably the most reliable server on this roster, with 3 big points left to get. Devine with a hard shot. Nina Pinto absorbing that one nicely. It'll be Devine again. A long way to go for Pinto. Now can Williamson get it back over? She does. Now Devine again, the hard smash. Reardon gets to it. Pushed over by Corsini, but the double hit for Milford. And Canton able to take the point after Milford gave max effort. And the fans now fully engaged on both sides. A 23-22 lead for Canton as they send Emily Morrison on serve. A tough setup for Williamson. And no call initially. Williamson sent that return around the outside of the antenna. There was no whistle. And then eventually play stopped, and now the 2 officials will talk it over. And now they award the point to Canton, and Coach Weber can't believe the decision. And looking for an explanation now from the official. And so a pivotal call. And I believe at the end of the day it's the right call, but it came in very late. And it now gives Canton a set point up 24-22. And now a warning issued on the Milford side. And right now, conversation mostly between the official up by the net and Captain Nina Pinto. And so now Nina Pinto delivering the message from the official to her coaching staff. And so Milford having to dig deep here as Canton has the set point on the serve of Emily Morrison. The Milford fans trying to will Milford on. Here's the setup over the middle for Williamson. Now here's Harris, blocked in front by Fauerbach. Now Harris will have another chance, but too strong. And it narrows it to 24-23. And Coach Weber now is animated as we've seen her at any point this season on the sidelines. She knows just how important this set is. Williamson on serve. Milford with no margin for error. And a careful serve over the middle, pushed over by Brown. Now Corsini can't get it past Devine. Milford eventually gets it back over. Now Brown will set it up for Harris, and Harris gets the kill. Perfect placement on the floor, and a crushing loss in this third set for Milford, a set that they led out of the chute 7-2, but it eventually slips away. A controversial call there towards the end of the set. And now Canton in the driver's seat once again, up 2-1. Milford trying to regroup. We'll be back with set number 4 when we return after this coverage of Milford High School girls volleyball on Milford TV. Canton did not have a lead in that third set until they led it 22-21, and they ended up doing just enough to edge out Milford 25-23, taking a 2-1 lead. And Coach Weber, with a lot of conversation amongst her team in between sets, trying to reel everyone back in emotionally after a set loss that no doubt stung for this entire team. They felt they were on the verge of taking the lead, and then a late call by the officials on a ball that, again, as we saw it in real time, it appeared that it went around the outside of the antenna on the return shot for Williamson. But it was not called initially. It wasn't until the ball was played back on the Canton side that play was stopped, and I believe that was the argument that was put up by Coach Weber in the moment. And then again, as the conversation continued in between sets, we also saw a yellow card issued, which I believe is the first time we've seen a yellow card issued in any of the games we've covered here for volleyball. And so a warning for what likely was the arguing of the call by Nina Pinto. So just a warning issued. And so some adversity for Milford. We'll see how they respond to it, this young core of players who've been learning as they go this season, a new nucleus serving as the core starters. And all things considered, you would say that this team is ahead of schedule in terms of where they are record-wise right now. 5-4, over 500. They've been in just about every match they have played. When I talked to Coach Weber prior to the start of the season, she talked about she expected this team to be better at the end of the season than maybe where they were when the season began, and they might be playing catch-up late in the season to try to get themselves into a playoff spot. Well, they've played themselves to a plus 500 record to nearly the halfway point in the season, and trying to hang tough in this match as well, grabbing the first 3 points before finally Canton puts a stop to it. We'll bring you a quick update on the progress of the football game after this next point. Nicole Brown, the serve for Canton. The setup for Williamson, but it's blocked up in front. They're almost to the end of the first quarter. Over on the football field, Milford with a 7-0 lead, getting a touchdown on their opening drive. They lead for the first time all season. First time the Hawks able to score first, the first time they were able to lead at any point in a game, and hoping that's a sign of things to come for a much-needed victory. Canton quickly evening the score here on the volleyball court, 3-all. Quality service once again for Nicole Brown. And now that shot deflecting off the hands of Sydney Sutton. Now a 4-3 Canton lead. Now Sutton sending that one out of the reach of her teammates. Five straight points for Canton. And now the double hit for Milford, and a little frustration showing through on the floor for the Lady Hawks. And Coach Weber initially trying to rally the troops from the sidelines, but can feel the negative energy out there. She calls the timeout. It's taken with Canton opening up a 6-3 lead on Milford. Canton leading the match 2-1 as we continue our coverage of Milford High School girls volleyball here on Milford TV. Canton with a 6-3 lead. Brown still serving. Now Corsini from the left side, pushed back over by Brown up at the net. Now McDonough setting it up for O'Brien. Nice dig for Pinto, who just sneaks it over and eludes Olivia Chinson. Now Williamson, power serve, and an even more powerful return up front for Devine. When Devine and Harris square it up, we've talked about it a couple of times now. You're not going to find a more powerful shot in all of the Hawk. Pinto able to fight that one back over the net. Now here's Harris with a blast. Sutton digs it. Pinto can't get it past the front. Williamson now shoots it to the back row. And two-handed over by Brown. Able to throw off Milford's timing. And Canton now with an 8-4 lead. Emily Morrison serves it out. Fauerbach sets it up for Pinto. On the near sideline, it's Brown. Now Harris shoots it through the middle. Now Pinto into the net. The confidence now oozing from Canton. Now Corsini trying to find space on the near sideline. And that one does not make it back over. Milford gets the point. It's 9-5, still close. Now Brianna Maeda trying to put Milford back into a groove. Played off the net, Devine backing away from the net, able to return it. Now Corsini to the back, played well by Emily Morrison. Canton cannot return. Now Harris with a soft lob, and Julia Reardon able to adjust. Doing so many things well in this match. Now Harris, too powerful that time. And it's down to a 1-point deficit for Milford. And Maeda losing her technique on that serve after she had pulled Milford back to within 1. It's now 10-8 Canton. Here is Megan McDonough. And McDonough off on her timing as well. Alvarenga back out on the serve, and she delivers it long, so a series of missed serves on both sides here. 3 straight. Now Olivia Chinson will try to get things back on track. Now Brown setting it up for Taylor Harris, and Harris will get another kill. They're moving along at a lightning pace out on the football field. Just 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. It's still a 7-0 Milford lead. They'll set up Harris once again, and able to get the deflection off the hands of Alyssa Williamson to extend the Canton lead back out to 13-9. And that one deflecting off of Maeda. Milford can't return. Falling behind 14-9 and forcing another Milford timeout. A win in this set for Canton will give them a win in the match. Milford with other ideas, hoping to force it to 5 full. Let's see what happens when we come back on the other side of this break here on Milford TV. Chinson continuing to serve for Canton out of the timeout. Her team up 14-9 on Milford. Reardon the long setup for Pinto. Canton was ready for the flick. And a lot of bad body language out there for Milford right now. That call at the end of the third set seems to not be sitting well with this team. They haven't been able to shake it off since then. Trying to find a play that they can rally around to get their spirits back up. Pinto will try to get it done on serve with her team trailing by 5. And a laser beam just getting over the top of the net, deflects off the hands of McDonough and out. Another good serve, and the deflection this time off of the hands of Emily Morrison. And so perhaps now Pinto channeling that frustration into these serves to try to get her team back into it. She's sent over 2 good ones. Now it's Harris, and ended up deflecting right to Nicole Brown. Brown able to push it into a vacated spot on the Milford floor. Putting Canton into a 16-12 lead. And now the long serve for Canton. It seemed as if Canton has been in control throughout this set, but you look up at the scoreboard right now, it is just a 3-point lead. So Milford not out of it by any means, but a nice return shot that time for Canton as they're able to find some space just inside the back line. It is tied up now out on the football field, 7-7 between Milford and Sharon. The serve now from Allie Irons, who really was one of the huge factors in Canton coming back to win that third set. Here's Devine. And that grabbed a piece of Milford on the way out. The deflection makes it 18-13. Now Reardon for Lauren Corsini, and the deflection off towards the Canton bench, and Nicole Brown able to stop her momentum just in time. Milford now turning to Sydney Sutton to try to lead a Milford comeback from behind the service line. Clean setup for Devine. Milford takes some heat off of it in the front. Now Fauerbach softly delivers it over. Canton with some positional issues, but they're still able to send it over. And too many touches, I should say, on the Canton side. So the point for Milford now makes it 18-15. And now Sutton, a good serve. And the deflection out. And could we be seeing another turning point in this match? Canton calling the timeout. Coach Cawley has been very savvy with her timeouts throughout this match. She calls it here with Milford narrowing the gap to 18-16. Continuing to see exciting back and forth volleyball here in the Milford gym tonight. And happy to bring it all to you right here on Milford TV. Continuing on serve is Sydney Sutton. And now the nice dig, and Milford can't play it off the net. Fauerbach and Reardon were there, but it drops to the floor to give Canton the 19-16 lead. A lot more energy coming from the Canton sideline. The majority of their bench on their feet, fully engaged. The Milford bench players seated silently on their side of the floor. Pushed back over by the libero McDonough. Now Corsini trying for the spike, but Canton stuffs it. And it's now a 20-16 lead, and it looks like Canton may be closing in on the match victory, 5 points away. And Reardon misjudging that, frustrated with herself afterwards. Thought that was going to clear the net. It ends up staying on the Milford side. Nicole Brown focused in behind the line for Canton. The serve finds its way to Sutton. And now Corsini has that one roll off the fingertips. Milford with a major test here at the midway point of their season, facing their longtime rival and the first place team in their division. They've played them tough, but it's felt like frustration has set in here in this third set. A close call on the back line. And some heated disagreement both on the sidelines and a little bit on the floor as well, but Nina Pinto quickly trying to rein it in, knowing that her team did receive that yellow card towards the end of the third set. It's now 23-16. Canton 2 points away from the match victory. Williamson splits the front row, but Canton stays calm. Now O'Brien. Williamson dives for it. Sutton as well, but to no avail. And now match point coming up for the Canton Lady Bulldogs, and their bench ready to erupt. The senior captain trying to close it out on the Canton side on serve. Brown releases it. And Devine delivers it down off of Reardon and out. And there is your match. Canton wins this fourth set 25-16. And they will take the set by a final margin of 3-1. And so the final score seeming lopsided, but really both of these teams playing well throughout the night. And Milford just couldn't seem to overcome the controversial call that came late in the third set. So as a result, Milford will fall to 500 overall on the season. They are now 5-5. And Canton wins their 7th consecutive match. They now improve to 9-1 overall on the season. Well, a big thank you to all of our Milford TV crew on hand for this game here tonight. Our camera operators, Scott Crisafulli, Derek Birchtold, our statistician, Caitlin Mobilia, and our director for the game tonight, Mike Sperling. And I am Tim Coette. The final score, one final time. Canton able to prevail on this rivalry night. Friday night, they defeat Milford by a final of 3-1. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.